Play clock, stop, throw the flag,
There we go, delay a game.
Second and goal from the 2-yard line. Minute and a half to go in the third quarter. Vikings lead by 7, and they want to make it a 2-score game. Darnold under center. Handoff Aaron Jones up the middle and into the end zone. Touchdown. Hey, showtime. And Aaron Jones has run the Vikings to a 23-10 lead. Punt inside the 10 here. That'd be sweet. High punt to the right of Carter. Calls for a fair catch. And it bounced on Carter. Get the ball. Must punt. Yes! Minnesota Vikings ball. Oh, Richter comes out of the pile with the recovery on the muff punt at the 14. Darnold back to pass. Fires to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown Vikings! Jordan Addison with his 5th touchdown this season. For Sam Darnold, that's 20, which is a career high, and it's 7-6 Chicago.
Wishing you can stand here to hear what's going down between gangster and man. He steps inside here, shelter from the rain. Chaotic circumstances.
Darnold, shotgun, back to pass. Looks it to Hawkinson, wide open. Caught it for 30 near side, 25-20. Here's TJ, and he gets down to the 15. It's a 35-yard hit on third down. Darnold to TJ Hawkinson. That was a cold-blooded connection. Sam Darnold, 7 of 12, 81 yards and a couple of TDs. He goes back to pass on first down. He's going to whip it right to Addison. Caught on the run at the 50. Takes the tackle at the 40. Gets to the 30. Stiff arm at the 15. Taken down at the 7. Darnold, Jordan Addison. What a spectacular way to start the second half. That's a 69-yard reception, the longest in Jordan Addison's career. Here we go. Hey, Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen. Ready for the Friday football? It's Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen for a Wednesday football feast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Allen, Paul Charchian, right here on the sound. Can I get a witness and a raucous round of applause for Jared Wells? He's J-Dub. Also, Nick Madden's street team is here to serve your every need. A day in front of Thanksgiving, young Maxwell is guiding the Great Ship Love Covenant at FM 100.3 KFAN and from the 651 Carpets Plus studios. And ladies and gentlemen, a bastion of football excellence on many levels starts the Wednesday football feast at Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen, one of the great defensive players in the history of Minnesota Vikings football. Can I get a witness and a raucous round of applause for Chad Greenway? He's a game changer. A big couple of days for the old Grey Duck spirits coming up, I'd imagine. And good morning.
And good morning, man. Sam Darnold, though, thought I'd beat you to the punch on that one. Big couple days for Grey Duck. Who's not going to go sit around a table?
Hey.
Probably talk about election results and get in fights with your friends and family. Why wouldn't you? And have a good time. Maybe get the old red bourbon out and have a good time with it. And that might make things a little easier.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
lube it up a little bit.
Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen, your, at least for most of you, but your favorite football team is 9-2, ladies and gentlemen. 9-2 just for you. And, Chad Greenway, after Sam Darnold threw 3 interceptions and no touchdowns at Jacksonville, I ran into my man at Buffalo Wild Wings, Crystal, for the Friday football. And he was like, Sam Darnold, though. All right. Well, off that 300 plus with daggers all over the field and victory number 9, maybe it's Sam Darnold, though, right?
Hey, absolutely.
How about that? Your quarterback coming through.
Unreal.
With flying colors in the Windy City, though. What do you think?
Well, Soldier Field. I mean, Soldier Field is going to Soldier Field every year. It's always a game like that. It's always something happens. They bring it all the way back, take it overtime. Didn't love how passive we got defensively in a couple of those moments. I just thought we go do what you do. Put the rookie quarterback on his back.
Yeah.
Rush an extra guy. Rush 4. Don't let him get the 30-yard gain to get the field goal, et cetera, et cetera. But then love how we responded in overtime. That's hard to overcome the momentum that you get in Soldier Field. You've been in that stadium more than anybody. You know that when the momentum goes in Soldier, it's almost impossible to flip. And look back, Devin Hester wasn't returning the kick. We were fine. And then here we go. Our quarterback leads us with 2 incredible throws in overtime, put us in a great spot, kick the field goal, move along, and get your win. And just like a ho-hum, you go to Soldier, get the dub, 9th one. It's like, and we're just the Sam on the 1-year deal bit. Like, fighting for his career, the whole 9 yards.
So,
love what he's done these last 2 weeks to respond from Jacksonville.
They're now without the old schoolers and sports fans will remember this. Kirk Gibson hits a massive home run to Dodger Stadium in the World Series off Dennis Eckersley. It's running around second base, and if you look through the outfield, you'll see taillights from a lot of cars that were leaving because they wanted to beat the traffic. Beat the traffic. That is the hill going down Chavez Ravine to get to north, south, east, and west. Now, there were no taillights seen as overtime commenced at Soldier Field, but reports from Chicago is there were thousands of people who had left and were trying to get back in, and they got shut out.
I love it. Kind of reasonably so. With 51 seconds left, the win probability for the Vikings was 99.9%.
Oh, geez.
Hold my beer.
And then here comes Caleb Williams. He engineers a touchdown drive. Then executes the needed 2-point conversion against our team. Onside kick. Then drives into field goal range. And their stupid kicker decides this is the time he's going to be clutch. And he makes that kick. Then everything, and they've got all the momentum in the world then. Then the defense makes the stop. And at that point, heading into that, I don't think any of us were feeling really good about the defense making a stop when it had to, but it did.
All right, so off that victory against the Bears, win number 9, win number 2 in the division, into the Arizona Cardinals game Sunday at noon, which feels like forever from now. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It's at U.S. Bank Stadium, the first of 3 consecutive at home. I'm going to hit what I think is the A topic. Chad, you go first. So now with Justin Jefferson and this voluminous and blanket-like coverage that he's receiving, the A topic into the game for yours truly is, did the 400 and change Addison, Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones put on the Bears 400 some odd yards, like 420, did that potentially loosen things for the big horse Justin Jefferson moving forward? And good morning.
And good morning. I don't think it does. I think that you're going to have teams that come in. You're going to say, "Hey, I want these other guys to prove they can get open and prove they can beat us."
Okay, but they're doing that.
They're doing that now. But here's of all the names you listed, to me the most important one is Hawkinson. To me, to get him going on vertical routes, to make some plays, I think at the end of that game was so critical, because when you come back off injury, you have the physical piece, but you have the mental piece. Can I get back out there and be the same guy I was before? And now he has a game like that with some big moments. I think he went over 100 and
just 14.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, now he's feeling a lot more confident going into this week. I think you're going to get the doubles, the triples, the guy over the top. They're not going to just let JJ beat you. You're not. You're going to go in and say, unless you have that guy, which Chicago had that guy, plus they crowded him with coverage. Now it's up to Sam. Identify what they're doing and make the right play.
You're telling me one receiver can go for a career-high 162. A tight end goes for 109 in the second half in overtime. The running back goes for more than 100, and a rare Vikings rushing touchdown by a running back, and they're just going to go ahead and triple 18 and just let it happen again.
I think what you're going to see is you're going to see 2 guys all the time until this can be a weekly thing. They're not going to go straight up on JJ. You're not going to do it. He's proven over the last 4 years that that's what he's going to do. He's going to beat you, and that's why you pay him what you pay him. And coaches are going to come and say he's not going to beat us. That's what I think is going to happen, especially this week.
Well, it almost always has, and it's been this way for years, though. This is not new, necessarily. He gets a lot of the double teams and the bracket coverage and the triple teams where somebody is shading over, a linebacker's heading into his zone, a safety's drifting his way to be the third man on him. And fortunately, Sam Darnold has developed. Remember that in the Jacksonville game with the 3 picks, all 3 picks were laser focused on Justin Jefferson.
Hey.
And since then, he's making his reads and he's finding the open receiver. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Sam's played his best 2 games of the year in these last 2 games.
Yeah.
And it's coming off of that Jacksonville learning moment about finding the other playmakers that can help you win.
Right. But when O'Connell comes on 9 to noon a couple of Tuesdays ago and he says, look, I watch a lot of football. And
yes, he does.
He's basically saying he watches a lot of all 22 of other teams because, as Chad would know, information is borrowed and schemes and ideas are borrowed and stuff like that. And when he says it is akin to being tripled in an NBA game, in about every single play. Well, I mean, what's happening this year with Justin is new. The approach is new and it's longer lasting. It has to be, or you don't amass the most receiving yards in the history of the National Football League for everybody through 4.5 seasons, passing like Moss and Torrey Holt. Something's new.
Well, I think what you have now is you have Sam Darnold in the position to understand when is he getting that coverage over the top and when isn't he, because you're going to start to see teams now fake, show something, give you a look, and then he has to identify post-snap, not pre-snap, what's actually happening and then make the read. The reality is when you have your superstar saying, either I'm going off or these guys are going off, and I don't care which one it is, I want to win. That, to me, says everything. Dude got paid. He's in a spot where, yes, I'm the guy, but let's go win because this is a lot of fun. And now, Sam, just go pick your spots. We have these guys that can make plays all over the field. We are not a one-trick pony in any sense of the imagination, so stop acting like it. Even the guy who is a superstar saying, throw the ball someplace else, let's go win.
So that's the A topic, at least for me, into this game. What happens with Justin Jefferson and a defense that, as Paul Charchian will tell you as we move forward, has been quite stingy, really over the last 3 games. Now, Chad Greenway played with Adrian Peterson and played with Adrian all of his career. So how often did Adrian, so let's think running back compared to what we just talked about with receiver. Like, how often did Adrian face face as a runner what Jefferson does as a receiver? Stack the line late, beg the quarterback to pass. Peterson's HOF. Justin most likely will be. But some of that stuff Adrian had to have faced, like that's the running version of it. How'd you get through it?
Yeah, I mean, you constantly faced these boxes that were overloaded when you had to go against a scheme that was saying, you're not going to run the football. We're going to do anything we can to prevent you from running the ball. And then he'd go for like 115.
Right.
And he would make a cut that nobody really saw, or he'd miss. Adrian famously missing holes. And then creating his own hole and running people over and stomping on their chest and then continuing to go. I mean, that's just the level that he had. But it's really going to come down to the ability of a team to stay with a running game, in Adrian's case, to say, we're going to make you stack the box and then make you pay for it. We're going to allow you to keep showing the coverage, but we're going to make you pay for it, and here's how. And then eventually, after the next 2-3 weeks, if we can keep doing this and Sam keeps playing well and these other guys keep stepping up, eventually you got to go single him. And then good luck. Right. Because now you're going to pick your poison because, oh, by the way, Hawkinson's healthy. He can beat you in one-on-one. JJ's healthy. He can beat you in one. Our running back's really good with this scheme. He's playing really good. Like, now we have more one-on-one matchups. But it's going to come down to Sam post-snap recognizing, making the read, making the play. In that 1 second, I got to have it, which at times, when you're hyper-focused on this is the guy I'm going to go to, you throw picks. It's the NFL. Everybody's good. So you can't have a predetermined route or concept you're going to go to in that case when it's post-snap reads.
Well, it's adaptability. It's such a long season. So many things happen and change. Your players and your coaches have to adapt with all of the nuances that come throughout the course of a season. And defenses are going to give you different looks. And when one defense figures out a way to hurt you, the next one's going to go try it. Are you and your coaching staff dexterous enough to make changes? Do you have the right players that allow you to make changes? Can you change up a scheme? There are so many changes, and adaptability is the word I'm looking for.
Yep.
Adaptability is so important over the course of a season.
One thing I want to talk about real quick before we get off the Bears game, is that quarterback they have over there is potentially scary good.
Yeah, he looks good.
If he gets the right system, the right people in place around him, his playmaking ability, the arm angle which he can deliver balls in different angles to different levels of the field. I don't want to give him this praise because I don't necessarily love the Bears at all, but that's scary over there. Now, inevitably, in overtime, he's the reason we got off the field because he held the ball, took the sack.
That was a bad sack.
It's a rookie mistake you don't make. He throws that away. They get a first down. They may win the game. You have no idea. But again, that's a learning moment for him. But if he's going to figure it out, and that's going to be a scary operation over there.
So, Willie, 2 games ago, nobody was saying this about Caleb Williams.
No.
It was all hypothetical. We see a pass that's a really nice pass. It's just little drips and drabs of greatness, but he put together a really good game, and especially the second part of that game where you're like, that's NFL caliber talent right there.
The only thing that worried with him, watching him, is some of the easy pass inaccuracy that some guys just can't get over. The Chuck Knoblauchs of the world, you can't get that thing just from second base to first. If he can clean that up, now he has a chance to be really good, because what separated the Aaron Rodgers of the world is that accuracy at all times on tough angled throws that he could just make in his sleep. That's what changes guys. But I thought what Caleb did the best was use his feet at the right moments when he had to extend drives and make tough plays.
And then you see a pass. I can't remember what part of the game. Feels like late first half. Right side in front of the Bears bench between a diving Van Ginkel and Blake Cashman.
That was a great throw.
Yes.
That's one of the 3 best passes I've seen all year. So you'll see that. But it's after watching what we watched with Caleb Williams last game. He takes sacks. Okay, he'll hold the ball too long, but the elusive nature and just how strong his lower body is. It was like seeing Will Levis in person. I'm like, damn, I had no idea Will Levis was that big and that fast. Same with Caleb. He's not super tall, but he's very thick and strong. It's just hard to imagine that there was a situation. Charch was like, a couple of games ago, nobody'd be saying this about Caleb Williams, and he's right. It's very hard to believe or envision, standing on Soldier Field last Sunday, that there was a coaching conglomerate that permitted him to get sacked 9 times by the New England Patriots at home. At home.
9 times.
The future of the franchise, the one everybody loves. Everybody has navy blue and orange 18s in the crowd, and you almost let him get killed by getting sacked 9 times because of that game. Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator, got fired, but his steady progression from then, all right, downtown Thomas Brown takes over. Everything is short in the first half. Everything is short against Green Bay. Santos has that kick blocked and they lose, and we watch the game against us. But just to envision what a few weeks ago was the situation with that young man getting bludgeoned, and then what we saw just a few days ago, he's on the fast track.
Talking to my Bears friends, even though this Vikings loss effectively ended their season, they're delighted. They were like, you know what? I don't care that we lost this game. We probably weren't going to make the playoffs. Now they're definitely not going to make the playoffs. All they care about is the development of Caleb Williams, and they view that game as effectively a win. Right? They showed the resiliency to come back in 51 seconds, to push overtime to on a team that's a 9-win team, and they see the end game with Caleb Williams materializing. Bears fans are happy. They just moved up 3-4 spots in the draft, and they've got their quarterback.
Who gets onside kicks? I mean, since they went to the kicker and the super special 5 on each side, I think it's a 0.9%, or it might be a 0.9, a 1%.
That was the third one this year.
If there was a jinx, announcer's jinx on onside kicks, they gave it to us on Sunday because it was one of those deals. They kept talking about the percentage, the percentage. We had too much time to talk about announcer jinx. Usually that's in a kick, and it was in this kick, the kickoff and the onside. It's one of those spots. He hit the ball perfectly. Your eyes have to be right if you're in Munt's situation. I was that guy. I was the front. I was the blocker. Your eyes have to see the kick through. You can't not see the kick, see the angle, see the speed and everything else, because at the end of the day, you're also on the recovery team.
But what if it's a dribbler?
So if it's a dribbler, if it's short, now you obviously, first of all, You have to guarantee you let it go.
Let it go.
You don't touch it. You move away.
Why did we have two players advancing into the area where it's too short? Shouldn't they be letting the ball come
you want to advance into the area, but your eyes have to be fixed on the ball. So you have to see the speed trajectory of the ball to make sure it does not hit you. That is rule number one.
That's
because
hard.
At the end of the day, is if you think the speed of the ball is going to get to 10, he should have just jumped on it. It was an easy one to pick up. He should have just plopped on it and got it himself because it's a free play. You can't be touched before the ball.
Right.
That's the rule. So the reality is eyes on the kick. If you know what's going to take a hop, you move out of the way in front of it, which is a traditional onside kick.
Right.
And you block, and the guys
like
behind you go get it.
Yeah.
On the ground. Now, what they did was a perfect kick because it is a challenge to understand, is this thing going to hop? With the way it was spinning, it's a hard read. It's a bang play. At the end of the day, you need to see it so it doesn't hit you at least and get yourself out of the way and then go block in front of it so the guy can step up behind you and make the play.
Go ahead.
So what we ended up doing is precisely the thing you don't want to do.
Honey, stop.
You go into that neutral zone where the ball has to get through there. You pick up a guy, you're not looking at the ball, and next thing you know, it's bouncing off your leg.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go block, you have to avoid the ball and then go block, because at the end of the day, those guys' job behind you that's the one you want to have. I think it was JJ's side or it might have been Hawkinson's side, and that's their job to go recover. Your job is to go block and keep those guys clean.
And that's why you were there, because you weren't there for your hands.
Well, I did recover one onside kick in my career, so let's just backtrack that a little bit.
Okay, all right.
Let's not jump to nine-man offensive player of the year.
And you probably didn't face a ton.
We didn't. I mean,
maybe 7.
Faced a fair amount.
1 for 7. That's a big percentage.
Can't remember exactly. It was actually in the Lions game when I had 2 picks back in 2009.
Ooh.
So 2 picks plus an onside kick and a fumble recovery.
Wow.
What linebacker touches the ball 4 times in a game? Come on.
Okay, in closing for this segment, Andrew Van Ginkel. Now, when Chicago fired that coordinator and elevated downtown Thomas Brown, I was really excited that they were going to do this short game, like at least most of the first half again, to try to get young Caleb going, and was just sitting there. In fact, I think I guaranteed or made a prediction in the pregame show with Musk, Vikings Football Sunday. If they play like they played last week, Van Ginkel's getting his 3rd touchdown, because there will be too many plays for him to not know exactly one of them, and it almost happened.
I know.
It was a screen right, and Van Ginkel jumps it. He had it all diagnosed, but Caleb's playing so fast right now. Hitch, wait, loop, there he goes.
Yeah, I think Van Ginkel has just an unbelievable ability to read and sense and feel that. That's something that just comes by naturally. I mean, that's film study certainly, but
was it Winfield-esque?
Winfield-esque, 100%. Of Winfield is like literally watching game film up to the moment we walk out to the stadium, and then at halftime he's sitting down and watching it again. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, oh, that's next level. Winfield, he's just doing what he does. And then, but Van Ginkel has such a feel for the game. But you learn that in Northwest Iowa. That's what you do. That's the type of style they play.
Rock City.
Yeah. Well, what else is there to do? You may as well learn that.
You play football up there.
Yeah.
Does he remind you of anybody with whom you played? A linebacker, back in the day? See, like, it's convenient to see longer hair, like Claymaker. He's not Claymaker. Claymaker was inside, physical kind of guy, but he'd play edge too. And Van Ginkel can play all over the place, but the way he plays and the way he's deployed by Flores and others, does he remind you of anybody?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull a name right now of somebody that I'm thinking about. He's so rangy and athletic.
Right.
That if you look at Van Ginkel, you think, to me, I look at, he's an athlete. Like, he's not this big bruiser. He's not going to go thump. He's obviously a good hitter and good player, but he's not this kind of thick backer who's going to be inside. But he's rangy and athletic, and I think that's what kind of, again, the word of the year for me defensively is he's versatile. You could put him inside, outside. You can put his hand on the ground. You can do all these things. But his instincts inevitably are what, to me, make him really unique, especially in those edge-type plays. I don't know that I'd have a name I could pull offhand.
Yeah.
That sort of he reminds me of somebody.
Help me understand this, Chad. You've talked a lot about his instincts and just his ability to instantly decode what's happening on the field.
But then catch the ball.
Well, that helps too. Have the hands
in tight quarters when it's coming at you 100 miles per hour.
Right. He's not playing tight end. Right. He's playing linebacker.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Do you have the freedom to make your own, to effectively change your play, change what you're going to do when your instinct says, oh my God, it's a screen. Screen's coming. I'm going to break at the quarterback or whatever. How much freedom do you have to break out of the called play when your instinct says something's going to happen?
Well, as long as you're doing so, it totally depends on the play and situation. So it's kind of a hard question to answer. If you have a role within that defensive scheme where I got to make sure the ball goes outside of me or inside of me, or whatever that is, or I got to cover a guy, clearly you have rules within the defense. But what he's doing is he's reacting to the scheme he gets post snap. So he has a tell somewhere, he's seen it, and he knows that if I get this block in this situation, I'm going to see that block, react, read, hand up, boom, bat it to myself, and away I go. That's what the plays he's made, that's what he's done. Yeah. It's post-snap reads and then reaction. In very, very quick reaction, it's all just instinct. And he's reacting, he's seen it, he's obviously, he's repped it, and then he's able to take that and then implement it in a game where a lot of guys, it's a half second too slow. It's such a fine line of missing it and making it in that world. So, but he's done a tremendous job. He's been a great asset. And again, to build a defense like this, for the most part, through free agency, has been incredible to watch because we have not seen a lot of that in this league.
We have a Super Bowl winner joining us at the Friday Football Feast today, a segment after you. Bo Allen played at Minnetonka High School, won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, part of a very podcast with Howie Long's kid, Chris Long. And Bo's from here, so he was in town. I asked him to stop by at 10 o'clock. But that's a Super Bowl winner who will join us after Chad Greenway today. And Chad's appearance is courtesy of Grey Duck Vodka and Grey Duck Spirits. You're listening to the Wednesday Football Feast from Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen. It's PA and Charch and more with 5-2 radio around the corner. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanks for listening to KFAN when you do, and we'll be right back. Feasting at Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen on a Wednesday, a day in front of Thanksgiving, and also a few days in front of the Minnesota Vikings playing the Arizona Cardinals, and that's going to be the first of 3 consecutive at home. It'll be the Arizona Cardinals, and when we feast next week, which would be a week from Friday, we will be feasting for the Kirko Chains game.
Yeah, the first of 2 against Kirk this year.
And the Atlanta Falcons at U.S. Bank Stadium. And then after that, Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears come to U.S. Bank Stadium for Monday Night Football. We're awaiting the arrival of a little trick that we're going to pull off here momentarily. Thus, yours truly is a little more staccato than usual. And ladies and gentlemen, holding up your phones here at Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen, we don't believe that you are looking to illuminate the dark room. We believe that you are showing us there are news reports out there focusing on the sky.
Jones under center, play action, boots out to the left, throws left, Bellinger wide open, caught, touchdown New York Giants. 9-yard touchdown, Jones to Bellinger. It was a bootleg left for Daniel Jones. And speaking of the word left, Peterson got left in the wake of a keen turn of speed by that rookie tight end, 23-14 Giants.
He is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. Boom.
Game tied at 7, 3:06 to go in the first quarter. Daniel Jones from under center, back to pass, throws right, caught. Man wide open to the 40 and to the 50, and out of bounds is Darius Slayton deep in Vikings territory. It is a connection of 49 yards, Jones to Slayton.
Apparently, we have a new member of the Covenant, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Daniel Jones, a former first-round quarterback from Duke with Pat Shurmur's New York Giants back in the day. And there are multiple reports out there on the X machine. We prefer to go with somebody with whom we used to work, who's incredibly reliable, very good at what he does. .com Tom was the nickname back in the day.
Yeah.
He's Tom Pelissero from NFL Network, and he's the bomb. And he tweets, the Vikings get a new backup for Sam Darnold, while Daniel Jones gets a chance to learn under one of the NFL's top staffs for the next couple of months. He'll be on the practice squad, giving flexibility and minimal investment for Minnesota, while the Giants pay him $11.8 million.
Got to get that part in there.
So Daniel Jones in Sam Darnold-like fashion a little bit, you know, where you're just coming from a home where maybe they didn't pay a lot of attention to you. Maybe you were, you know, I don't want to say abused, but I mean, you weren't treated the right way. And now you get to come to the comforts of Kevin O'Connell's practice squad and this Covenant that clearly has turned around Sam Darnold and actually did some wonderful things last year during the three quarterbacks who weren't Kirk Cousins until just the whole thing popped. But Daniel Jones, let's start with Paul Charchian, because last Friday at the Friday Football Feast, he championed the cause of Daniel Jones, who the reports were then that he's going to be cut. He'll be released. Okay, well, that happened. And now you got to wait a little bit. And he cleared waivers. Nobody wanted to pay that money or deal with this guarantee of $20-some-odd million if he gets hurt. He clears waivers. Apparently, no confirmation from the team. But when .com Tom tweets, then that means it's 99.9% accurate. Last week, Charch started bringing it up, and this is FIDA, Fairness and Daniel Jones Act. I had no idea where it was coming from, and I was like, okay, well, this sounds terrible. I mean, what are we talking about here? And then Paul just started laying out the layers and everything, and like the free swing at it and somebody else paying for it. I'm like, damn, that makes a lot of sense. So you first, Charch, here he is.
I love the move. I love this move. It does two things. Number one, for this year, we get a NFL starter caliber quarterback as our backup. You can argue whether or not he should have been benched by performance this year, and it was inconsistent, but it was also, his season was not terrible. He had a stretch in October where he was playing pretty good ball. And Daniel Jones was in a bad spot with the Giants. Bad offensive line, the whole thing diseased in so many different ways. Now he gets the best quarterback coaching he will have had in his entire career in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell. He will get to see how this system works. And if, God forbid, something happens to Sam Darnold, the Vikings have now got two levers to pull. If you feel better about Nick Mullins, you can do that if you want. We've seen Nick. Nick gives you a chance to win many games, and he gives you a chance to lose many games. You know, some people would say the exact same thing about Daniel Jones, but I think Daniel Jones gives you a better chance to win games once he knows this system than Nick Mullins does. He's less likely to give away games than Nick Mullins does. But here's the big payoff, I believe, for Daniel Jones being here now next year. Sam Darnold is going to be elsewhere, and he's going to be very well compensated. Nobody knows for sure what we have in J.J. McCarthy. Having the luxury of having Daniel Jones here next year, which I want him to love his time here. I want him to come to Minnesota. I want him to love us as fans, love his coaching staff, love Kevin O'Connell. I want him
get out of that abusive situation.
Yes, I want him to go, oh my God, this is what the rest of the league gets to experience.
Thank you.
Right? Now, Daniel Jones is not going to be anybody's starting quarterback next year. Sam Darnold will. Nobody's going to sign Daniel Jones to go be their for sure starter. But the Vikings can say to Daniel Jones, if J.J. McCarthy is good, he's our guy. But if J.J.'s not ready, you're our guy, Daniel Jones. And, and we don't know. This might be as close to a starting opportunity next year as Daniel Jones will find any place in the NFL. So I love setting the table with Jones for this year and next year and bringing him in as arguably the league's best safety valve if J.J. McCarthy doesn't work out.
And now for the other side of the story.
Well, I think what you look at from this perspective is think about where he's at. How many times have you seen a quarterback like Sam Darnold change just views, change coaches, change circumstances, same situations, and all of a sudden revive or start a career? I like that we've become now this quarterback recovery unit here in Minnesota. Like, come on back over here. Mm-hmm. We'll nurse you back to health.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. We'll send you off in the world and go make 70, 80, 90 million dollars.
We have a high level of respect and care for what you just went through. So let's sit down and talk.
And now what you see is it's a positive on our staff to look at these situations and say, we can get the best out of this player.
Yeah.
And when you have Sam come in and have these last 2 games, but have this season to be able to put us on a 9-2 record and give us a real shot when nobody really knew what we had is really impressive on this staff and just the organization as a whole to look at it from this angle. Now you have young JJ coming in and next year, and we're going to be in the exact situation next year that we were to start the season this year. We looked at Sam Darnold and was like, wait, what? And now all of a sudden you needed him.
Yeah.
And we're 9-2 with a shot. Most teams don't have that situation, so we're very, very happy the situation we're going to get him. He's going to want to be here. He's going to love it here. And, I like to see that we're in that situation in 6 or 7 months.
Look, Danny Dimes, we know Daboll kept leaving you on red. And we know he stopped sharing his location 5 nights in a row at 1 a.m. we know what you've been through. Just come to us like all of the rookie quarterbacks wanted to when Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, all of them said, if there's one place we could handpick to go, it's there, which would be here. Why? Because of that guy, Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Because of the way he runs things, the volume at times with which he passes, and we understand, Danny Dimes, it ain't cool when somebody stops sharing their location. But there is a way to work through it. So sit down and let's talk.
Let's talk. Now, it also goes 2 different directions. The Vikings get to test drive Daniel Jones for the rest of this year and see, do we want you potentially as a quarterback on roster next season? I think they'll come to the conclusion that they do want him. Now, an interesting tidbit that Paul said that we haven't talked about yet, he's going on our practice squad. Any team could just go take him off our practice squad.
Yes.
And so, hopefully that doesn't happen. But you can't.
Well, why wouldn't they cut Brett Ripp? I mean, I'm trying to run somebody out of town, cost him money.
I understand, and that's my question too.
All right, 3-2. Yeah, well, no, you're right. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, why is Brett?
Why take the risk?
Well, is Brett Ripp in practice squad, or is he?
No, he's active.
He's active.
He's active
well,
roster, though.
Yeah, then I don't understand why. I don't understand why you would do that, honestly. Because nobody's going to put Brett Ripp in from your practice squad.
Okay, you're becoming apoplectic over a move the team hasn't even confirmed has happened. So, yes, I believe it will happen.
Yeah, I don't know. You're the one who said it.
Yeah.
I'm just going based on what
you're all riled up over here.
Well, look, I stopped sharing location with you yesterday, and now all of a sudden you're treating me like crap the day before Thanksgiving. Grey Duck Vodka, Grey Duck Spirits, Bourbon, anything going on today, over the weekend, anything we need to know, and good morning.
And good morning, and thanks for having me on this happy Thanksgiving.
Love
being a part of this thing over the how many years it's been going on. It's been so fun, and on holidays like this, on the Wednesdays in Chanhassen, you just look to appreciate people that have helped you out so much. Man, appreciate you guys. And with Grey Duck Spirits, it's going to be a great Christmas or great Christmas season. Great Thanksgiving for everybody out there.
Amen.
Enjoy it. Go get yourself some Old Red. Get yourself some Grey Duck vodka. And show up to the family party with, a little cheer.
Yeah.
A little cheer in your hand. It's Thanksgiving for you more of a vodka holiday or a bourbon holiday?
Probably a little both. A little mix, a little blend.
Not at the same time.
Yep.
Not in the same
time of day.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Hey, Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen. Happy Thanksgiving to Chad Greenway, ladies and gentlemen. Card-carrying member of the Love Covenant and the Wednesday and or Friday feast. Some fantasy football around the corner. After that, a man named Bo Allen, who won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a beefeater. He was a defensive tackle. Played at Minnetonka High School. He's an elite football mind. You're really going to enjoy him. That's coming up following the first part of the fantasy football feast from Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen on your home for Minnesota Vikings football. on your home for 9-2 Minnesota Vikings football, FM 100.3 KFAN.
Stick around following every noon Vikings game this season for Vikings Overtime, hosted by Paul Meat Sauce Lambert, presented by Park Chrysler Jeep in Burnsville. Catch them all right here on KFAN and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. Bo Allen, Super Bowl winning defensive tackle, will be joining us shortly. Played at Minnetonka High School and played for several teams in the NFL. Looking forward to chatting with him. The truncated version of the fantasy football feast goes a little bit like this. It's like, metaphorically, if you were thinking about a horse race, they're in mid-stretch. So it is and down the stretch they come in these guillotine leagues. The best way, and honestly the only way to play fantasy football for yours truly would be guillotine leagues and guillotineleagues.com.
And you're still alive.
Yeah, and I had 2 leagues, and I got bumped in one, and I'm still alive in the other, trying to go back to back. And 5 remain in these guillotine leagues. If you started with the 18-week piece, the way it's designed, 5 teams remain. So what we want to do with Paul over a couple of spots today is we went down the road last week of what he calls end-game guys, leading to end-game rosters. All right, so if you're in these gees, and what makes the guillotine league so cool is that when a roster gets chopped, I mean, you get the biggest of the big ever to be big available via the waivers for bidding and stuff like that. So I compiled some names that could be available in people's leagues, and I just wanted to get as a service to Fantasy Football Nation, the identity of fantasy football's thoughts on end-game players assembling end-game rosters. Let's begin with Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown. Is he an all-in or not, and why?
100% in. He is as extremely reliable week in and week out fantasy player. With Devontae Smith in and out of lineups, constantly hurt. A.J. Brown, end zone target, that big body. Any catch, he can break a tackle and run the rest of the way into the end zone. 100% end game player, A.J. Brown in.
Okay, L.A. Rams running back Kyren Williams. Ooh. And see, I didn't think AJ was going to be a low hanger for you, simply because Jalen sucks up yards and sucks up points.
Yeah.
And you're right about the AJ Devontae bit. I mean, it has a little rotation to it at times, but you daggered AJ Brown as an end-game, end-roster kind of guy. I put Kyren Williams in there simply because at one point he had scored touchdowns in like 10, 11, or 12 consecutive games.
Yeah.
Back to last year, I think. It was a Rams record. Including against the Vikings on Thursday night. That's where I got the intel. It slowed down a little bit for Kyren.
It has.
With Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back, it slowed down a little bit for Kyren. So, end game, assembling end game roster, Kyren Williams, though.
Well, you still have to say yes because, Paul, he gets like 90% of the carries. Mm-hmm. They just don't use anybody else. And
so you're saying ship all the money you have in as an end game player on Kyren Williams?
Well, it depends on one thing.
Yeah.
If he's like the last, you've got your roster is set, your guillotine roster is set, and you're missing a running back or a flex player. Yeah. You got one spot left. All in on somebody like Kyren Williams because he does get almost all the carries on a good team and an offense that scores points. And when they get down to the 2-yard line, odds are Kyren Williams getting paid. Now, his metrics have gone down, and especially lately, yards per carry, broken tackles, blah, blah, blah. It's the effectiveness isn't as high. But at the end of the day, Paul, for fantasy, volume counts more than talent.
Got it.
He gets it.
Okay, well, let's close this portion of the fantasy football feast with Paul Charchian at Paul Charchian via the tweet machine. Please follow him as the feast does. Justin Jefferson.
Well, it's funny you say that because this
end-game player.
Came up on the Chop podcast yesterday because Justin Jefferson was the most chopped player last week.
Oh, geez.
28% of guillotine rosters with Justin Jefferson got chopped coming off his 2-catch, 27 performance. And we only got the second catch because of overtime.
Right.
So the question then is, do you put in all your chips on Justin Jefferson?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you do. Now,
he
has not scored in 5 games.
Right.
That's a worry. But we know how important he is to this offense. We know the willingness of Kevin O'Connell to manufacture looks for him. Mm-hmm. Even I go back to that Jets game. He's going up against Sauce Gardner. They still attacked Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed with Justin Jefferson. I just don't see a protracted slump coming for a player of his ability in a Kevin O'Connell offense that wants to find ways to get him the ball. They won't do it when
sounds
it's
like
impossible.
you're talking yourself into this a little bit.
I did have to talk myself into it a little bit, but I got there.
Right, but I mean, say, you're down to 5 teams, and you're chasing the fat chip trying to win the whole thing. And you got whatever fab left, and you have more than those are free agent dollars, and you have more than everybody else.
Right.
And there he is, and hey, I can go 176, and nobody can get this guy except me. And then all of a sudden it's triple and quadruple coverage, and it's a 2 for 27, and you get chopped, or you almost get chopped, or you get chopped, and now you got no money.
Now I got no money. Yep. And so look, and one important nuance for Guillotine, I don't want to get too deep into this. You only have one full bidding cycle left after this.
Yeah.
So it's either spend this week or spend next week.
Oh, it is?
Justin Jefferson, and you can still get guys after that, but none of the players who get chopped after week 14 are not available.
Feel you.
So if you're going to put in your chips this week or next week, and Justin Jefferson's there, I want Justin Jefferson on my team. I'm going to go down swinging.
Got it.
Justin Jefferson.
Got it. Paul Charchi, and I'm Paul Allen. It's the Wednesday football feast at Buffalo Wild Wings Chanhassen, and we bring a new friend into the equation when we return to FM 100.3 KFAN.